While many people may love the library of the Nintendo 64, I think for the most part, most people can agree the N64 controller has not aged well. Specifically, the analog stick in the center tends to wear out, develop a ton of slop. And additionally, for a lot of people, they just don't like the overall shape and design of the N64 controller. We've all seen the meme where do you need 3 hands to use it? No, you don't. You just need to use your head a little bit. Well, the team over at Hyperkin has recently released a new wired controller designed specifically for the N64. This is their Fleet Admiral, designed to basically take their wireless Admiral and bring it into a wired sort of setup. Why would you want wired over wireless? Well, there is a little bit of lag and latency inherent in any wireless system. There just is, and especially if you're playing on a modern flat panel TV, that makes it even worse. They've gone ahead, and this design is very similar to like the Hori gamepad that's available for the N64, but it has some different sorts of tweaks to it. Now, we've done an unboxing already. You can go ahead and check it out right up there, where you can take a look and see how it comes out of the box. Let's test out and see how it actually plays. Now, before we get into the gameplay, there are some things I do want to go over with on the Fleet Admiral itself. Now, I do actually have the Admiral itself. This is their wireless version of this controller, and there are a few differences. Looking at the thumbsticks on the Fleet Admiral, the knob here on the top looks a little bit bigger than what we have on the wireless version here. This looks a little bit smaller. We'll put them top to bottom so you can kind of see here what they look like, or go, there we go, probably the easiest way to see. So this does look like it is slightly smaller diameter than what this one is here. You also look at the height of the sticks. This stick is significantly shorter than this one here. Not anything I think that'll throw you off terribly, but it is something noticeable. And then I do see that the support basically from the gimbal up to the thumbstick portion looks a little bit thinner and narrower diameter on this than what we have on here. Now, a couple other minor things. This has no rumble built into it, if I remember correctly. Actually, this one may have rumble built into it. Double check our review. I'll have it linked for you right up there, where we kind of go over all the features of this. Button layout and everything looks to be pretty similar between the two of them. D-pads look virtually identical. This one looks like the D-pad may be a little bit closer to center, but that could be an optical illusion. Now, one thing I do want to check out too is the fitment of both a memory card and the rumble pack into here. And I do have the OEM Nintendo units here. So for the memory card, snaps right in, pops right out. That's a good thing. And on the rumble pack, snaps right in, pops right out. That's excellent. Now, I do not own a transfer pack. I'm not into Pokemon games, so I'm sorry for those who may have been looking for that on here. Just not something I can provide. Finally, I will say the cord on this, kind of thin compared to some of their other controllers that they've had in the past. So what we're going to do, let's hook this up to our N64 and let's play some games. All right, we are going to get everything started off here with 007 GoldenEye. It's one of those that it just came back out for the Switch Online service, so we are going to go ahead and just dive in here. Now, we do have our Japanese N64. This is actually the US version, but it is connected to our RetroTink 5X using S-video cables, so that's why it looks the way it looks here. So we will go ahead and start. So there's left, right. There is... Now, one thing I will say is there's quite a bit of deadband in the control stick. If you watch the way I've got to move it here, move it a little bit closer to you, watch the movement of the stick versus the bond. It's probably a 5% deflection that it's not reading any movement, so that is something to keep in mind. These stick buttons feel good. I mean, the analog stick does feel smooth. It just feels like it's got, a little bit more deadband than I would probably like. Who's shooting at us? There we go. I'll say the LNR triggers do feel pretty good to go ahead and play with. Whoop. Try to get up here to snag the sniper rifle. Can't quite see the guy down there yet, so we'll have to go down to try to take him out. Ooh, Hello. Now that's using the D-pad as well to go left and right in addition to the C-stick buttons. So good to know that those all still work as they should. Like he's trying to do the time warp. Jump to the left. So I'd say overall not too bad. It's not overly sensitive, which is a good thing, but it does have some deadband around center to be aware of. Get him. Can I get these guys down there? Yeah, that deadband is just a little bit too much for me, where trying to make fine moves. I think I got him. Up next, we've got the game that possibly sold more N64s than anything else, and that is Mario Kart. So many 4-player matches that happened with this game. We'll take a Mario. Let's go. Oh, good start, but hit the back of the pack. So the R2 is to shoot. Oh, a little bit too low and in the dirt there with the power slide, but we are making up time already, back up to second. Got him! And granted, I called that a little bit before it actually hit him, but oh, nice power slide there. Now, not sure how many people know, that was me hitting the L trigger, but you can adjust the volume of the background music by playing or by tapping the L button. Oh! Ah! Haha, whoever's in first. Ah, Toad. You got one coming for you, buddy. All right, coming down in the final lap here. Now, if anything, this feels a little bit sensitive around center, which is weird. Oh, yeah. Oh, no! Ah! Damn banana peels. All right, but we are still in first. All right, we've got the last corner here. Try to get a good power slide around to get a good boost. Toad's right behind me, but we held him off. Yeah, if anything, it was kind of weird that the analog stick felt oversensitive there. Up next, we are going to check out Super Mario 64, but not any version. This is the Shindo Pack version, which means it will work with the Rumble Pack. It's one of the beautiful things about importing games from Japan. And this one we got from our good friend Vink over at Japan Retro Direct. And one of the things I want to check here, I'm going to go up here a little bit and kind of see how Mario runs around in a circle as I basically put the analog stick through its motion. Now, the faster I go, the harder time he has staying with it. But if I do a normal... You know, a couple times there where it didn't read quite the right input. Slow it down a little bit more. So you can kind of see what the gate performance is like there. Now, even if you have a US N64, it is possible to import this title and play it on your American version. Some people just cut off the tabs on the inside of their units. I actually 3D printed a cartridge slot essentially for my my N64s. Now, pressing A and B at the same time work well there to kick the Goomba. Kick the baby. Don't kick the baby. So that was the L2. Which, that was R2, and they both work exactly the same as you would kind of expect. Ooh, just about got smushed there. Now, one of the things I want to check as we climb the mountain here is there's an area where Mario has to cross like a 2x4. And for that, having precise control is really important to make sure that you don't fall off. It's amazing that this is S-Video in, and it's looking this good on the RetroTink 5X. Oof, missed that one. Missed that one. Holy balls! Okay, so here's where we're going to test like the precision 2 of how fast or slow Mario can walk. That was pretty good. Now, the one strategy I've always found useful with King Babam is to kind of get him to start following you, get him to move in one direction, and then run behind him. I mean, granted, He's the very first boss of the first level. He's pretty easy to beat, so we're going to go run behind him. Maybe. There we go. And don't throw him off because that just screws up the game. Or like he yells at you or something for not fighting fair. There's 2. That's the C-stick buttons. There we go. Our last game here. It is the greatest night in the history of this great sport. Rumble Pack supported. Insert a Rumble Pack now. We are going to go ahead and put the Rumble Pack back in. But before we do that, one thing I did want to go through is just walk through, see how the fitment on the memory cards were. So here's an OEM Nintendo one. That one's fine. Here's a performance one. This one has got a number of different memory card slots, essentially. Goes in just fine. This is, I think this is a Mad Cat. No issues there. Yeah, and then finally, this is the massive memory card 32X from Performance. For the longest time, I used to think that this was also a Rumble Pack. I don't think it is. And the reason why I'm testing this out is just to go through and test out the D-pad, because this does not use the analog stick except for taunts. And we are going to take Bret Hart against Goldberg. Right, that is not a Rumble Pack as well, so we're going to swap that out. Now I've got Rumble, so... Oh, bam! Right into the ring post. Oh, an arm dragon twist. Oh, he's going for the sharpshooter! Goldberg does not quit. Not yet. There we go. Whip him into the turnbuckle. Follow him up with the clothesline. There he goes. He's going for it again. So what do I think as we are winding down here in this match with the Hitman versus Goldberg? What do I think of the Fleet Admiral overall? It's very similar, I would say, to the wireless Admiral. It's just wired. Even though the... Ooh, missed that one. Even though the controller cable is rather thin, no performance issues or anything along those lines. The buttons do feel pretty responsive. The C-stick is... the analog stick is okay. Ooh. Goldberg with the reversal there. It works just fine with third-party memory cards, with Rumble Packs and things like that, which is a good thing. Works just fine with both US and Japanese titles, which is fantastic. It's one of those that, I mean, there are so many bad N64 controllers out there now that having something like this is definitely, you know, a good thing to have. If we can get him to submit this time in the middle of the ring. You know, balance feels good. I would say if you're a fan of the Hori gamepad, you will probably like this. This is not one of those things where, like, a lot of times you give your friends the janky controllers because you think that, you know, it's janky, so you want to give yourself an advantage. There's no advantage to be had or lost here, really, with this, I don't feel. Now, I don't have any of the Pokemon games or the transfer packs, so you know, I don't have the ability to check that out. Oh, Spirit, he is down. Yeah, I would say overall for the money, I mean, you got to figure this is like 20, 25 bucks. You know, not a bad controller whatsoever. For me, I've always had an issue with controllers like this, even with other manufacturers where, like, not having the C stick or the Z button down here and having them both up here is just a bit bizarre to me. It's something that I do need to adjust to and get used to, because this is a, you know, overall better controller layout than what the original N64 controller is. Oh, we got the special going on. I would say overall Hyperkin's done a pretty good job for the money with what this is. You know, it's weird that in some games the analog stick feels overly sensitive, and still others it feels like it's not sensitive enough. So That's quite bizarre. How bizarre, how bizarre. But, I mean, this is one of those, I will have a link down below in a pinned post where you can go ahead and pick one of these up if you so desire. Ah, there we go. Oh, he kicked out that dirty, rotten such and such. Holding them for someone to attack that's not there. Yeah, overall, this is not a terrible way to play the N64 whatsoever, especially if you have, older controllers that have, bad triggers, bad analog sticks, bad D-pads, frayed cables, things along those lines. This is definitely something that I think that you would be happy with in the long run, playing games on repeatedly and be successful with it. Now, I will have a link. There we go. The Hitman does go ahead and knocks Goldberg out. Knocks his head into the third row, kind of. But this is one of those where this is actually a really decent option for the money if you are looking for a wired controller. Now, I don't, like I mentioned earlier, have the Mario Party game, so being able to test the analog stick going through here, I don't have that opportunity. However, as you saw in Super Mario 64, the faster I did this, the less precise Mario could react. So that is something to keep in mind. But overall, pretty comfortable, pretty responsive, pretty inexpensive. Not bad to take a look at. Now, if you do want to check out some of the other Hyperkin products that we have checked out over the years, I will have that link for you right up in the upper corner where you can go ahead and check those out. We've done consoles and adapters and controllers and more. Oh my!